G'day, team. I've got another very interesting topic today, and I've got the amazing Kyelie Baxter with me. Welcome. This is
Thank
going to
you.
be an amazing conversation in the accounting world. So just some context before we dive into it. I've worked with accountants for 20 years, and this topic that we're going to be diving in today is around, in my world, AI, artificial intelligence, automation. But I have to set the scene. So before I dive into it, can you please just introduce yourself, who you are, your background, and how this came to be today?
Yeah, so my name is Kyelie Baxter. I've got a public practice accounting firm. Like I'll say boutique, there's 9-10 of us at the Gold Coast. I have been in practice since, a long time. I don't want to give it away, but more than 20 years. And so I've seen a lot of stuff. Like we came from that traditional paper-based firm. I brought in with partners and, it's been a real journey to get the firm to where we are today. I ran a completely digital firm, so we literally do not have a stationary item on our profit and loss. We don't print. There's no pens. There's no paper. It's pretty good.
So completely paperless office.
Yeah.
What about merch? Do you buy pens as merch for conferences and buy pens? No. Okay, completely paperless. No stationery whatsoever.
We use these things called rocket books. Have you ever heard of them?
The digital.
Yes.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
You're using a rocket book. That's cool. Okay, we should dive into that conversation. All right, let me set the scene. So for the last 20 years, I've been working with accountants. They're very much not what you just explained. Very much stuck in the dark ages. They have tried to go paperless. Don't get me wrong. There's been that conversation around going paperless. But when it comes to this conversation, what I've heard and seen this last 2 to 3 years, especially in our world in artificial intelligence automation, is the roadblocks I'm getting, and I've met with over 100 accountants, 100 accounting firms this last couple of years, is do we use AI automation or do we hire an offshore team? Now that absolutely blows my mind because I first hired my offshore team in 2008, 16 years ago. Why is this still a conversation today? Like that's like so far behind, in my opinion.
Yeah, look, there's a lot of conversations that we're having where people would add that tagline, like you're so far behind. How is your industry so far behind? I think it comes down to, like, I laugh when you say, oh, the two options were AI automation or an offshore team, because they're so the same, right? Not, like that is so completely just totally different trains of thought, but they're the two options on the table. I think it comes down to the fact that in the accounting industry, particularly since COVID, we've had a real resourcing shortage. So it's been really hard to find staff. Like I'm on the Gold Coast. It's such a transient area. People come and go. So I think that when accounting firms or, anyone in professional services is talking about AI and automation, it's efficiency. And we were on a webinar earlier this week together and, that was the number one reason, except for one dude that said fear of missing out, which I thought was hilarious. But otherwise it was all about efficiency, right? So I think they're like, oh, well, we just need to get through the work and do it quickly. An offshore team, they might not get through it quickly, but they're cheaper. So we're getting efficiency that way. It's about the way you think about it.
It's an efficiency conversation. And as you mentioned earlier, like accountants, very much a people-driven business, and they see an offshore team as being an additional people resource to the company, and that will drive efficiency in that direction.
Yeah. I'm probably not on that path. Like I think that it's really important to use AI and automation in your firm because that's how you create the efficiency, and it leaves the people that you do have in your firm to do higher level work, more interesting work, get that grunt done by the computer.
Yeah, but the computer crunches numbers, not the person. So, as I said, you are a fresh of breath air when it comes to this accounting space. I like we've only literally just met, and I just can't believe that the way you think is just amazing and maybe hilarious to the accounting world. But it's definitely a fresh breath air. I believe it's a game changer. Yes, you just talk about your boutique and your 10 staff members, but when you are unique and boutique, you can embrace change, you can embrace adoption, you can move fast, you can break shit. It doesn't matter. And so let's dive into your firm. Let's dive into what you've been able to achieve in the last couple of years, how you've embraced technology, and what you're seeing from an efficiency perspective on the ground.
So I guess the biggest thing is talking about that resourcing issue. I realized it was hard to get good staff. Like one of the challenges that we've got because we are a digital office is it's like asking people to come and work for me and learn to do their job that they've always known how to do in a completely different way. Spoiler alert, accountants don't like change that much. So generally some people find that challenging, particularly when you're looking for those senior roles and you might be getting people in the later half of their career that just don't want to learn new things. I get that. But the good thing about it is by putting tech in, getting our tech stack right, really using that AI piece that is so affordable and so easily accessible today, we've been able to grow our client base or our revenue without really increasing the number of staff. Like I probably had this many staff 6 years ago. And, we've certainly increased our turnover since then. So it's really about just making sure we've got aces in their places. Every staff member's just doing what they absolutely need to do, the human part of the job. And we're making our tech stack work for us as best as we possibly can.
I love that. Before we dive into detail, it's always been in a professional services firm based on the number of people you have in the company is based on your revenue, based on your turnover, based on your profit, right? There's always that ratio of 3-1. It's no longer the case. Like you're an example of, I have 10 bums on seats, but they're all aces. I don't have any of, I don't know what's a good way of putting this, associates or juniors coming up to the ranks. It's like they're all aces. They're all there to get the job done. They're all adding value to our clients and our team. We don't need to grow our team. Because why? Because we're using technology to do the workload of probably another 3, 4, 5 resources.
Yeah. The easiest place to start if people are interested in doing that is absolutely in the administration client services space. Because once you go digital and all your records are digital, and then you start using automations, and I'm talking like get your tech stack right. ATO Mate's a great example. Start pulling that Coro down and straight out. Start using a portal, electronic signatures, online libraries, all that sort of stuff. It really leaves people with not a lot to do in that administration area. Even from phone answering and making appointments, get an online calendar, get clients to make their own appointments at a time suitable for them. Don't make them ring between 9 and 5. And I'm not saying that those people become obsolete or redundant. I'm just saying that it frees them up to do different kinds of work.
Yeah, so we're not talking about one particular tech stack here or one item or one technology that essentially solves everything. You're talking about a lot of little pieces in the pie, from customer service through to doing the work, through to invoicing, like the little pieces throughout the entire journey that all add up, that create efficiency.
Yes, 100%. And that's the thing. There's so many opportunities. It's not like you have to reinvent the whole firm. There's so many opportunities. You just have to figure out where your biggest pain point is, I guess, and then go from there.
And so I'm really curious to switch the conversation around to what has the feedback been from the clientele that you're working with? Because they would have come from a different accounting firm, no doubt. They would have had their own opinion. What are you hearing on the ground?
Look, overwhelmingly, it's positive. We are very upfront with clients. Like I will say to them, hey, we might not be the accountant for you because this is the way we work. And if you don't want to work with us in this way, like we will not let people rock up and give us paper, like not even one sheet. So, and if they insist on
what about my
that,
box of receipts? Like, can't you take my box of receipts?
No, we're allergic. And we joke with clients about it, like, sorry, we're allergic. No, you have to talk to us in our language. And if clients, so like elderly clients, let's say someone just loses the plot and comes in with like their bank statements, we will charge them to convert that to digital. And that's how we train people. And people respect it because it's sort of like, no, this is the way we work and there's reasons. And this is how our fee structure works like this. And this is how the staff work. It's all the go like that. One of my clients did liken coming on as a new client to us as like going to the personal trainer. You really hate it at first, but then you see results and you really like the way you look. So they're happy after that. So I thought that was a pretty good analogy.
That's a great analogy.
I loved that. So that was cool. But I think overwhelmingly we have really had a win by being quite progressive in this space. Like our clients see what we're doing in the business and they want to replicate that in theirs because everyone's got some sort of billing process, right? Or everyone's got some staff or whatever the story is. So it's helped us, basically we have another revenue stream now where we can go in and help people digitize their businesses, which is pretty cool for an accountant to be in that space working every day.
Hold on, did you say you're becoming an advisor, a consultant?
I know, right? It's like this whole trusted advisor thing, and we're really stepping into those shoes. And I love that because people trust accountants with their money, so they figure we know what we're doing. So they're very open to accepting recommendations from us in any business or finance space.
My mind is just like completely blown. Like, this has been a topic of conversation, I'm going to say, for 20 years, right? Like, the accountant is the trusted advisor. And we talk about advisory, and accountants need to shift from being an accountant and a bookkeeper to advisory consulting work, but I haven't seen it done. Like, everyone talks about it, and everyone might, there might be the bigger firms out there that have a separate advisory team to their accounting team, but I haven't really seen this been done in majority of accounting firms. And so
I don't know. I think there's a lot of new startup like the barriers to entry for accountants, and as far as starting up their own firms, are the lowest they've ever been, right? Because tech makes it so easy and so good. So I think anyone that started their firm up in the last sort of 4 or 5 years is doing this. It's the people that have come from historical firms, dark ages, bought in, or, their family businesses or whatever. And I was that person as well. I bought in, we're the ones that have to reinvent the wheel and struggle through that change management process with our team. If you're starting, like, I'm jealous of those people that are starting their firms now because, geez, the world's your oyster. It's easy in comparison.
Yeah, but you're boutique enough that you can be flexible and keep pivoting and moving as required, right? Where a lot of the firms I've been talking to are the 40, 50, 60, 100 plus staff, been around for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, multiple partners of the company. And the only conversation they talk about is the bottom line. And the only conversation they talk about is how does it affect my pocket as me as a partner. There's no advisory conversation about how do we benefit the client. How do we, yes, there is, and this is no disrespect for accountants. They definitely are having that conversation internally, but they're not actually doing what you just said. Hey, can we help you digitize your company? I can guarantee no one is having that conversation at that level. It's like
the people I hang around are doing it.
Yeah, exactly, because it's the new way of thinking, right? So I absolutely love that. It's such a different mindset, and I think you nailed it before around culture. It's embedded in your culture, which means the clients that you're bringing on, it's embedded in their culture, right? So it's a win-win, right? This symbolic approach where you're only working with the clients that you want to work with, and the clients that you're bringing on are the only clients that want to work with you. So it's like you're not getting 6 months down the track or 12 months down the track, actually, we're not a good fit. You're figuring that out right at the beginning.
Yes, and we have to, because the technology that we use, it's a lot. It's like learning a new language if a client comes to us. So they have to be really on board to want to make that work.
And so for all the accountants out there that are thinking this conversation, hopefully not the offshoring conversation, but thinking like embracing technology, embracing change, what's some quick tips that what lessons you've learned this last little while around embracing a different way of working, a different perspective, and embracing technology into your business?
Look, I think the whole Nike just do it thing definitely makes a bit of sense. Like, if you just spend a lot of time researching, getting overwhelmed with all of the options and never actually implement something, you're never getting anywhere, right? So I think the biggest lesson is just try it. Try things in small phases. The good thing, like, I talked about this on our webinar the other day, but I want to be clear, AI is not your tech stack. Your tech stack exists and it runs the firm and helps do all the things. And then AI sits on top of it and gives you that strategic insight and does all the fancy stuff for us. There are so many things, like there's so many opportunities within our tech stack now where they're giving us AI options, So I pay for the AI option in Slack. It's in Canva, it's in Loom. Like there's so many opportunities. Even Dex has AI in their precision product now. So I think if you're not utilizing what you've already got existing in the products that you're using, give that a go. Start there, because you just have to figure out where it's going to save you time. So work out what your problems are, or work out what it will help you do, and then let it do it, and then put the human element in and double check.
So to summarize, what you're saying is don't wait for everyone else to figure it out first. Just jump on in and just do it, because I'm seeing this way too common in the industry, right? Where it's like, no, I'll let someone else go make all the mistakes. Once they figure out exactly what it needs to happen, then I'll just get it from them and just go, okay, put it in my organization.
Yeah, but that so doesn't work because all of our organizations are different and we all tick differently. We've all got different strategic direction. We've all got different clients, different business goals. So you can't just go, oh, what's my mate that owns this firm doing over there? And then I'll just do exactly what he's doing because it's not going to work for you. You have to figure it out yourself. So I do recommend like beta testing. You know, if you want to, at the moment, I'm doing this thing with phone calls and recording phone calls and then digitizing the file note and then pulling it into our DM system. I'm just doing it with a couple of staff members because I want to make sure that the accuracy is there, that the staff are happy with it, that it's working quickly enough, that it's going into our database, the automation never breaks, all of that sort of stuff. Just a few staff members. Because if I rolled it out across the firm and then it didn't break, people are going to lose trust in my decision-making abilities. So I need to do it small scale and then, really work through that process.
Test and measure before rolling out to the whole company. Love it. At the end of the day, most accountants are risk adverse, so that makes total sense, right? Because you want to make sure that the accuracy is there. And people always talk about, my humans are more accurate than technology, and the short answer is no. We can get to 99.8% accuracy, where humans are probably 70 to 80 to 90% accuracy, depending on what they're doing from entry.
Yeah, but also the AI will run 24/7. Like a human, you run them more than 8 or 9 hours, and that 70% or 80% accuracy is going to 50% accuracy. After 20 hours, I'd love to see what the accuracy is because I'm not so hot after that time.
I haven't quizzed you on this, and this last question. Have you tested out the latest O1 model from a reasoning questionnaire point of view? And if you have, what outcome are you seeing?
So are you talking
like about?
In ChatGPT, there's an O1 mini and the O1
and
preview.
O1 preview. Yeah.
I like it. Like, I think that I used the O1 preview, so the used advanced reasoning. It's a lot slower to, come back to me with answers, but I thought that it was excellent, actually. Yeah, I think that it's more detailed, more thought out. It does do all the things because I'm on the paid model of chat. So, it does sound more like me without me having to go, hey, remember to sound like me, like all of that sort of thing. I loved it. Yeah.
It's becoming a PhD master in that industry, right? So if you're an accountant, like I've got 30, 40 years in accounting, that's what the model's for. So yes, it does take longer, 90 seconds, a minute and a half, but essentially what it's doing is it's asking itself, do you know how this works? Do you want to explain?
Yeah, explain it.
How the reasoning model. So how the reasoning model works is think of like us as humans, right? When we're asking ourselves or questioning ourselves a question on a particular topic, we're then thinking and then processing, and then we might ask a friend, and then we might do some researching, and then we go, okay, now I know the answer, right? So that whole reasoning or questioning a particular topic process that you go through is exactly what it's doing. So it's not just going, here's the answer, bang. It's going, I'm going to take a minute or a minute and a half, and I'm going to ask myself 70 times in many different directions to make sure the accuracy of my answer is going to be directly to what you're looking for. And it'll keep asking itself until it's happy with the answer.
Yeah.
And so it's very much that logical process that we as humans go through.
I think that you could run into trouble with it because you're, really our prompts are what creates the data, the information. I think you could get lazier using that O1 model because it's smarter than the other one. So instead of it just coming back going, sorry, I can't do that, or asking us a bunch of questions, it's just going to take it and run with it. So that concerns me from a staff training point of view, to be completely honest, because I think we need to learn to be prompt generators.
Well, this is why you're using the O1 preview inside ChatGPT, right? Which is the front-facing model. We use the model behind the scenes that we integrate into your firm, and we teach the model your knowledge base and become essentially the assistant. So it would be the accountant assistant that everyone's interacting with, which, I agree where you're coming from. It's not going to replace a human. It's that we call it the analysis model. Anyone who needs to do analysis, or you need to hire analysis in the team to come up with a solution or an answer, that's your new analysis. It's your new AI assistant. And let's call back Q1 next year. It's going to be an absolute game changer. Rolled out every API. We have access to it. I could go on for that forever, but anyway, I don't want to hold your time up too much, but I just want to applaud you for the direction you're taking. You're talking about like all the newer startups coming into the industry, the new accounting world, the digital accounting world, I guess you call it. But honestly, I haven't come across someone with such a fresh perspective on this world that you're doing. So take my hat off to you. Congratulations. You've done an amazing job.
Thanks.
I'm looking forward to seeing your journey over the next couple of years, embracing like the next generation of technology. Woo! Exciting. Thanks for being with us today. And anyway, shout out to anyone who's in the accounting world that's looking at embracing tech. I'm sure Kylie would be more than happy to have a conversation, dive into your business. Maybe you can be the consultant, the AI consulting for accounting, Kylie.
There's people that do that a lot better than me.
But thank you very much. I'm looking forward to seeing your journey. Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks.